Hello everyone and welcome now to game 2 in the series between Sage and Lowely. Lowely taking game 1 with a surprising not an all-in Baneling bust, but a surprising Baneling bust against a Forge fast expansion. Now Lowely will have to play a little bit more creatively this time around, or perhaps he could just play a straight up standard metagame now that he has caught Sage a bit off guard. Now, there's one key thing to remember on this map. This map, you can perhaps position yourself a little bit better with your buildings as opposed to on Antigua Shipyard. Antigua Shipyard, you are a bit further away from your ramp here, and then the Zerglings were simply able to get inside. One sentry not casting a force field was really the difference between victory and defeat in game 1, or an even starting game versus Sage just being very far behind. Now, Sage moving around, is he going to be going for a faster forge? It looks like he will be doing exactly that, going for a faster forge this time, as opposed to going for a pure Nexus first. Lowely is going in for that early spawning pool. We'll see if any gas will be placed down here in just a moment. It looks as though no gas as of yet. That means that Lowely should be establishing an expansion here relatively soon, but then again, he should also slow down his drone production if he wants to save up those 300 resources. All right, spawning pool nearing completion here. We should see a queen and a pair of two Zerglings, yeah, come out, a standard 4 Zergling opening, as we are going into the extractor once more. So Lowely opening up and perhaps hoping to do another Baneling bust and catching Sage off guard. So here we go, there is that forge once again. We could be getting in a photon cannon followed by I believe a gateway. Overlord is already coming into position, photon cannon is already being placed down, and this could spell trouble once more. 6 Zerglings out on the field. A drone now coming in and will be building up at the 3-minute 30-second mark. And I don't know if I've seen the same build actually executed twice. Double pylon here. Sage not adapting his strategy from game 1 at all, and perhaps hoping that it's going to be enough. And there is a photon cannon here. The photon cannon Zergling building a pylon here, and a beautiful placement, and that was actually a very good trade. 68 resources lost versus 25, and we do have a significant drone advantage, or sorry, probe advantage at this point, 19 to 15. All right, is a Baneling's Nest coming in? We do not see that as of yet. Extractor is down, but nothing is currently being harvested from that extractor. So Lowely may have built the extractor hoping that Sage actually caught sight of it. No, Sage did not catch sight of it, and now finally transferring 3 drones onto gas. So far, more drones are being added. A queen still waiting to take care of this hatchery here at the natural expansion. Zealot gonna get chrono boosted out. 1 photon cannon on the front door, as we are now about even in terms of harvesters. All right, a second Zealot now being added. Strange that it is a Zealot instead of a Stalker at this point, as Stalkers, actually no, you can't train a Stalker yet, no Cybernetics core. Stalker much better against those Banelings, as you're able to take them down, and they're also not light units, meaning that they don't take nearly as much damage. So Lowely sitting here, gonna try to take down this probe. Will he be able to do so? No. Yes, will be able to do exactly that. And no scouting information on the inside of the base. That could spell trouble, as Sage may overreact or expect there to be a whole bunch of Banelings again. All right, Sentry now coming in, level 1 weapons upgrade, as 2 Zealots take the banana hallway up the corridor in order to perhaps attack here at the 10 o'clock position. Normally, most units are not scouted out here. Lowely does not have an Overlord sitting right here, checking the backside of the banana hallway, as the Zealots may perhaps be able to get off some damage. Is going to be able to take down the Creep Tumor. Oh, forces a cancellation, and I don't believe Sage actually knew that that building was canceled, unless it may well say it. All right, Zerglings and Queens now engaging. A second Queen now coming in. This Queen is going to get taken down. Very low, and the drones pulling together to save the queen. What a beautiful, beautiful hive concept there, as Lowely stays alive and doesn't lose that much important production time. Level 1 weapons upgrade about halfway completed. Robotics facility about to be completed as well, in addition to another gate wave. We can see additional simulators being placed down. No additional simulators being placed down. I thought these two buildings were simulators. Wrong side. These two buildings still, or these two guys are still waiting to be taken. Now, Lowely does have a 10 supply advantage right now over Sage, but Sage is looking to do some perhaps interesting warp prism play. The key is going to be where this warp prism flies and whether or not it accidentally reveals itself to an overseer cocoon. If Sage's warp prism is revealed, Lowely should be able to react and respond very quickly with little to no losses, as the spine crawlers and spore crawlers really shut down any sort of warp prism play. Lowely has flown by, and he did spot this one particular robotics facility, but I don't know if he knows that there are actually zealots and sentries inside, I guess, the energy matrix of that warp prism. But here we go. We could have a unit now dropping in here in just a moment, but gonna be doing it from the high ground instead. Gonna be very interesting here. Zealots now being dropped off, going into phase mode. A whole bunch of zealots coming in as the queen now perhaps gains sight. This is going to be a huge battle, as the zealots do have level 1 weapons upgrade. The sentry needs to perhaps place down a force field on the ramp. Not doing that. Rather interesting, as we are going to see the sentry in the back here getting in a lot of damage. More units coming into, and now the queen are now unable to engage. More and more units coming back in as well. Zealots trying to get over there as well. Sentries just taking down units rather quickly. And the worker kill count is now up to 3, but now looking to take down the spawning pool. Sentries, there's a force field. Queens, are they going to be able to transfuse enough onto that spawning pool? The spawning pool is the main production. And what is happening here, as the zealots look like they may get taken down? One zealot with 4 kills, still inside the mineral line, causing problems, unable to finish off some zerglings. And it looks as though not a very good effective trade at all. Nope, another 4 zealots have made their way in. The warp prism still dropping off, and now some key tech has finally been lost. And what is going to be happening now? Production tab. It looks as though infestors are being added, and queens are now trying to stay alive. The zerglings trying to swarm in, as the banelings are going to be splashing up on all of these zealots. The zerglings now trying to finish off the rest of the units. Gonna go ahead and utilize that warp prism. Is the warp prism gonna perhaps drop off a zealot or 2 onto those banelings? As now we are gonna see perhaps a drop, yes, into the 3rd. And without these destructible rocks down, the zerglings are taking a little bit longer to get where they need to go. All right, the warp prism now backing away. We are seeing another corruption or contaminate onto the robotics facility. Normally do not see contaminate, as it does cost 125 energy, making it very difficult. All right, warp prism could in fact try to warp in more units and then pressure back in once more. Infestors are here. Sage is about even in this matchup. Robotics Bay about to get another, or get extended thermal lance range, and another Colossi here in just a second. Zealots now making their way in, and there is one full warp prism followed by the zealots here. The banelings are simply just going to walk around, and the zealots are going to perhaps take down a lot of these units in there. There's the final trade and exchange, as a new zealot now making its way inside the mineral line at the 3rd base. Queen now engaging against a zealot. Is the zealot going to come out on top? Yes, it does, at down to 6 hit points. Meanwhile, coming back over here, you can see infested Terrans attempting to shoot down this warp prism. There is a fungal growth, and now the zealots are being dropped off. A second fungal growth coming in, and the warp prism will get taken down. Baneling's going to finish off the rest of the zealots there, as we now see Colossi, sentries, and stalkers grouping together here. So Sage being much more aggressive, having a much larger army. We are going into a 3rd Colossi, and 3 Colossi with 2/2 or 1/1 upgrades may simply be too many units. Here we go. Colossi now looking to strike. I don't see that many anti-air units at all, as the Colossi swiping and dicing through all of those infestors. Fungal growth nowhere apparent, as the banelings unable to do anything up against these units. All these banelings falling apart. Force field doing a great job. You can see there are still a whole bunch of low hit point sentries as the Colossi Zerglings are now swarming together, and I believe Lowely will be forced to say GG here. Extended thermal land train, sentries, Colossi doing a great job, and Lowely gives the GG here in Game 2. Stay tuned for Game 3 in this series between Sage and Lowely.